Guys, first week of January, and it's a horror film. You know what that means. Come on, just get over with.
I don't have memories from this place. I have scars. I am gonna find it, and I'm gonna finish it.
So Insidious: The Last Key is the fourth installment of what is now the Insidious franchise. And once again we follow Elise, played by Lynn Shay, as she is called by a clan to fight demons in this one place when she realizes that this place is actually the house that she grew up in as a child. So not only is she helping a clan, but she is also battling demons from her own past. Alright guys, so let's get into Insidious: The Last Key. So, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I actually am a fan of the Insidious movies. I love the first one, I actually dig the second one quite a bit, I find that movie very underrated, and the third one was just fine. It wasn't a special film per se, but it was a fine and solid horror film. So given that the fourth Insidious film was coming out in the first week of January, and that's a horror film given the track record, you guys should know from me that I thought it was gonna be a terrible film. But come to my surprise when, after I walked out of this film, I didn't find it to be nearly as terrible as I thought it would be. Starting off acting wise, Lynn Shay is amazing as Elise. She carries this movie. One of the things I actually really liked about this movie was how it explored Lynn Shay's backstory, particularly with the opening scenes, which I thought were the best scenes in the film. I mean, these scenes go through some very dark things and some very chilling parts. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I think the third scene of this film had me in goosebumps. Like, it was some really chilling imagery. One of the things that really did surprise me about this film was actually all the technical aspects of it, like the production design, the cinematography. This is a very well-made film for a first week January movie. Now, I'm going back to that again because 90% of the time, given the track record, like I said before, January movies, especially in the first week, have been god-awful. While this movie actually tries to make something that's actually quite decent. I mean, the set design, like I said, the cinematography, like there are many shots in this film that, with the use of a flashlight, I was very surprised with the composition of most of the frame of this movie. Like, this movie did surprise me on a lot of fronts. A lot of dolly shots that do set up for some very good atmospheric tension. Now, of course, this is a horror film, and is this film scary? Here and there it is. Now, here's the thing. The film is very light on jump scares, and you guys know how much I hate jump scares, especially false alarm. The good thing is, more than most of the scares in this film are not false alarm scares. Now, there are a lot of jump scares, and there are quite a few that do work, like with one scare in particular that involves a bunch of cases. How they subvert expectations of this scene was very smart, and I really do applaud them for doing this. Well, one of my favorite scenes in this movie involves them using a radio, and how the audio changed in this scene reminded me so much of Sound Notes, to the point where there were moments of this scene that gave me chills. While this movie isn't nearly as terrible as I thought it would be, it's not quite a good movie either. While the first two acts of Insidious: The Last Key are actually very well made, if that carried into the third act, this film would have actually been very good. But unfortunately, the third act is where most of my problems fall upon. And not to mention, there's also flaws for me within the first two acts as well. One of the things I will not lie about the film is that it is kind of boring at times. Like, there were multiple scenes in this movie where I felt like that scene could have been cut out, or that scene could have been trimmed just a little bit to make the pace quicker. Once the film transitions into the third act tries all these different revelatory plot twists and turns. For every single plot twist that happened in the third act, everything felt so out of place. Like, this one particular twist, right when the third act started, it just felt completely unnecessary, to the point where it just felt like it happened just so it can establish yet another conflict that we didn't really need, I felt like. Now, like I mentioned with the jump scares, I am happy that more than most of the jump scares are not false alarm jump scares, but the truth of the matter, at least for me, was that most of the jump scares for this movie were not that scary for me. There were only, I think at the very most, 2 or 3 jump scares that actually didn't frighten me. For the most part, where everything else just had me doing this. Okay. Compared to the first 3, this film has nothing in terms of frights compared to the first 3 Insidious films. And to add on top of that, the demon that this film was building up to wasn't that scary either. I mean, compared to the Red Man from the first film, or even the villain from the second film, this guy is a laughingstock compared to those guys. Now, another thing I was not a fan of this movie was the humor. Now, the Insidious franchise itself hasn't really stuck the landing in terms of its humor. Where in this one, it really shows, because maybe while I did chuckle at maybe 2 or 3 of the lines that were said in this movie, for the most part, or at least 99% of this film, none of the humor worked, with this one particular joke that had me saying, "Oh, that's awkward." And the final confrontation with the demon in this film wasn't all that intense. Felt very underwhelming, and once everything happened, I was expecting someone else to pull out the easy button. Overall, guys, while Insidious: The Last Key wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it would be, it's still not quite a good film either, but still, for a January film, the first release of January in a horror film, that's saying a lot. So all in all, guys, I'm gonna give Insidious: The Last Key a 2 out of 5 stars. This film isn't all that bad. You could be doing a whole lot worse when it comes to January horror films out there. And I mean a whole lot worse. Alright guys, so Insidious Chapter 4. Have you guys seen this movie? If so, please comment down, let me know below what you guys thought of it. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and I'm also on Snapchat. So if you guys want to follow me on all those social media platforms, all the links and the usernames are in the description below. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Insidious: The Last Key, and if so, please hit that like button, share, and subscribe to see more reviews just like this one. If you guys want to see the guys' top 10 best and worst films of 2017 so far that I have uploaded, please click on this playlist right here. And if you guys want to see my last review of 2017, The Shape of Water, please click right here. And of course, until the next review, I will see you guys next time.